Hi, and a huge welcome to Steve's Kitchen. Is it live? Is anybody watching? We are going to be talking about the community tab. If any of you are familiar with it, if you're a YouTuber particularly, you might be interested to know my opinions on it. And I think we're going to be talking about why it is YouTube seem to need really a lesson in learning. And I'll cover those points a little bit later on. In the meantime, hello and a huge welcome. Is anybody in? It's super early. Andrea Ross, hi, how are you? Tropic Lush, Sean, Beast Twins, how are you all? Beautiful. Leslie, I'm not sure if you're still in. I saw your comment there. You may not be. It's a beautiful hot day in Australia. It's gorgeous. It's so hot. It's really strange when we're going into our summer and Christmas is coming around the horizon and it's boiling hot. You can see why a lot of Aussies tend to spend their time on the beaches over Christmas time and why we like to chuck a shrimp on the barbie. So who's in? Dean's in. Byron, how are you, buddy? Jacob Middleton, how are you? Now, Michelle will read the comments and throw them across to me. I may not be able to read them as I go. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Ronnie. We're going to be talking a little bit about this community tab. I think just yesterday, was it, Michelle?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. YouTube created what they call a community tab on our channel pages. And they were testing this last year when we were at VidCon last year. They were testing it and they were rolling it out to selected users. Now, I know a lot of big YouTubers that were given a chance to use that in the first place. And I'll be honest, 90% of them didn't use it. You went to their community channel and there was nothing being posted there on a regular basis. So I have a feeling like it just died a death. I mean, most of the big channels, multiple million channel users were not using the community tab. Now, YouTube tend to beta test these things for people. And I'm a little perplexed as to why something that seems to be so superfluous has been now launched on everyone. Because I went across this morning and noticed it was there. And it would be fun, but you guys might be able to find it. Michelle and I have to go through about 7 different stages just to get to the community. We can't go to our control panel and just open up the community tab. We've got to go all sorts of silly ways to get into it. So another example of YouTube, and I'm sorry YouTube, I love you to death, but really need a lesson in how to learn. The community tab, YouTube, you already have a community. You have a community. You're looking for something that doesn't need fixing, or you're trying to fix something that isn't broken. On the left side of my channel, I've got a button that's called Community. I click on it, and this new community tab it's not there. But I do get all your lovely comments, and I'm able to interact with you guys and chat with you. Okay, I can't post a photograph as you can on the community tab, and I did this morning, but you can.
Sean Shelham saying, tell me more about the community tab you've been talking about all day, so maybe explain a little bit.
Right, so those of you that have just arrived, the community tab is something YouTube are trying to do. They did Google Plus, which kind of failed. The community tab is something they rolled out about a year ago with some big channels. I know guys like Casey Neistat and Fun for Louie. They've got these community tabs, and my YouTube people said to me, we might have been put onto that trial list. As it happens, we didn't get the opportunity to try it. But what I noticed straight away is that most of the big YouTubers weren't using it. You go across their community tab and you actually have to go to the people's channel, click on their channel, and then there's a tab called Community. It used to be called Comments, I think, or channel comments, and now they call it Community. So you click on that and people are meant to upload photographs and videos and comments and things. You actually can't comment on there, by the way. I've looked at it this morning. All you can do is send a photograph and comment below the photograph. So they're trying again to bite off the Facebook community system, and they're failing abysmally. It's it's been there for a year. Nobody is really using it. And please tell me if you are. Is anyone using it? Maybe I'm the only one, but I'm certainly seeing none of the big YouTubers. And now they've rolled it out to all larger channels to use as a sort of default. And it's appalling. You go to the community tab, and it's like a 1975 version of Facebook. It's as plain can be. There's nothing really visually very pretty about it. Whether it works better on mobile, I should check that out really, but I think not. I'm going to use it, don't get me wrong, I'm going to give it a try, but the last thing I need is another job to do on YouTube. So for me as a channel, Steve's Kitchen here, if I want to go and have a look at that community tab, it's really hard to find, because from our Facebook page, we've got a list of tabs along the top and a list of tabs along the bottom, as you all do have. And there's one tab called Community. If you click on it, it doesn't take you there. You've actually got to click on my channel link to go to the channel, and then click on another button and another button before I can get in there to see whether anyone's replied to me. So why on earth, YouTube, have you rolled this useless this really non-functioning system across? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Google Plus didn't work. You've already got a community. It's called YouTube. It works really well. We can chat with our people. You've made it more complicated. Look, you lovely people out there, I reply, as you know, to 99% of my comments. I always try to, because I love chatting with you. A few months ago, YouTube hid all my replies, so now you have to click the comment below my video and expand it to see my replies. So YouTube again took all the work we put into replying to people and hid it. I spoke with YouTube, actually senior YouTube people at VidCon, and they said, oh yeah, that makes sense, it's crazy, and it's still there. I spoke with the people from the USA who actually designed the chat interface, and I said to them, why are you hiding all my replied comments? And they said, okay, I see, yeah, that's it. They haven't changed it. They've released the community tab to us. Anyway, I'm interested to see what you people have to say.
Jacob Middleton says, I think in the community tab you can post things like polls and pictures and GIFs and stuff that you can't normally post in a video. You can, but it's no good if it's not there for people to see. It's no good if nobody's using it. And the problem is, okay, I don't know how you see, I put a poll up today, and thankfully 150 people responded to the poll. But the big channels that were given this on the early stages are not using it. They're not using it. I'm following some fairly big YouTubers, and I know they're completely not using this thing. So why have YouTube not said, okay, this is not the way it should be? We would rather have a system that's fully integrated, that if we want to send a photograph, I know YouTube want to take over the world, Google want to take over the world. They tried it with Google Plus, which I fully supported, and it was an abysmal failure. And now they're trying it with this community tab. And they've had a whole year to sort of iron out the issues with it, and now they've released it, and it looks like a partly finished idea again. Anyway, yum yum. Latte, art, latte, art. No latte art. So Dean Flatt saying, Steve, hi Steve, how are you?
Dean, good, how are you?
Jacob Middleton says hello. Wendy Johnson says hello. Ronnie Gillett says hey.
What is that? I get you guessing. What is that? And it isn't what you think it is, but go on, have a guess. You probably get it. Hi Leslie, you are in. So Maya, how are you? Delacroix says you love the almond milk. You like the almond milk. Do you not love the almond milk? See, I see the L. I see love in every L. The almond milk was great. Fresh almond milk is so yummy.
Chocolate Lush is watching as I make Puerto Rican beef patties.
Hi Lisa, good evening. Puerto Rican beef patties, yum. That sounds nice. So are you watching it on a phone or a tablet? You just got me up there. So what is special about the flavour of Puerto Rican beef patties? What sort of spices are you using? Chilies in there? Are you using something particular that makes it Puerto Rican? Love to know. Empanadas. It's not an empanada. Looks like an empanada. Could be an Aussie curry puff. On your cool. Anybody making pickled onions? Look how beautiful they're coming along. Those pickled onions we made the week before last. The colour's getting really gorgeous. I'm really looking forward to making these pickled onions. How dark they're getting now. You can see it's getting right inside the petals of the onions themselves.
You've made them. You're looking forward to tasting them.
I'm looking forward to tasting them. Did I say making them?
You did.
My apologies. I do that. And we're also going to be making our, I'm hoping before Christmas we're going to be making our Branston pickle as well. So I can do a Branston pickle. I'll probably make a nice cob loaf. We'll have some Branston pickles, some nice sharp cheese, and make a ploughman's lunch. That's going to be fun. Sean is not a bang lassie. For those of you that don't know what a bang lassie is, you can look it up. And yes, I do know what it is, Sean. They look like eyeballs.
Pickled onions.
Wow, they do, don't they, Lisa? It looks like a ball of sort of Halloween eyeballs. All the spices on the bottom. They taste so good, though. They're going to be crisp. Lisa, they're going to be crisp and just pickly. Ruby, yours are turning blue-green. That's interesting. The weather is warming up. I hope some of you are looking forward to next year after Christmas. Michelle and I are going to be doing some touring around Australia. Actually, we're probably going to be doing some this month as well, aren't we? Exciting month. I'm going to try and vlog as much as I can on this channel. I set up a second channel called Stepping Off the Edge because I felt a lot of you didn't like, and I know many of you do, but I felt a lot of people weren't too happy with the vlogs on the cooking channel. But I've decided that we're going to put them on here nonetheless, because I can't change who I am, really. We kind of, if people don't like it, then there's lots to watch. You know, there's lots to watch. You don't have to watch me. But we are going to vlog some of this this trip around Australia, and we are going to put it here on Steve's Kitchen. And we're going to be driving along the coast towards Lakes Entrance. So there's a beautiful coastline out there and some really good dairy country. So that's going to be next month, during December.
Which starts tomorrow.
Which starts tomorrow. Michelle's remark. Happy December. Happy last of November. Happy December. Tropic Lush, you love the touring video. I love the touring videos as well. Sometimes I look back at them and I think, wow, they're good. I enjoy looking back at them. I love the train journeys that we've taken over the last year. And I loved some of the stuff we were doing in the USA and Malaysia. I mean, it's been great. Italy was heaps of fun. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I think we are going to keep it on this channel. And look, the problem was, Lisa, we were putting up a video, say, of vlogging in the streets of Bangkok, and people were unsubscribing. But I've realised now it doesn't matter. You know, my channel, YouTube have done it in such a way that everybody's complaining that their channel's views are dropping. Do you remember last time we lost the connection because the bin lorries came, the garbage trucks, as you Americans call it? Well, he's back again. He's out there.
Outside the road.
He was the other side of the road when I filmed him the other day. So he's back. I hope he doesn't cut off our internet again. I think I've tweaked with the internet settings so it works. Hopefully it's a little bit lower quality, but hopefully it works well. So yes, when I was doing those live markets and things like that, I was losing subscribers at a tremendous rate. But as I was just saying, YouTube have made it so hard for people to get views on their videos now. I really don't know what we can do about it, but I also understand that there's a lot of people that subscribe to you that don't want to watch your stuff. And if they unsubscribe, then it's probably a good thing. I mean, you're not going to be dragging along people on a tour of Australia that don't want to see Australia. So I'd rather half my subscriber base tomorrow and know that half of them were really interested in what we were doing than keep the subscriber rate growing. I mean, there are many channels now with 1 million plus subscribers that can barely get sort of 20,000 views on a video. So I think I'd rather just keep people on the channel that that enjoy what we do, even if it is a little bit bizarre at times. Any questions I'm missing?
So I know Wendy Johnson says, I love all your videos, I find them interesting. And
thank you, Wendy.
Lisa says that the quality is fine.
Yes, I'm hoping that the quality is improved a little bit because I've changed the settings for... By the way, come back to the what looks like an empanada, or many, if there's any Brits out there, might think it's a miniature pasty. Think more seasonally. Seasonally. How many L's are there in seasonally? I think I put an extra 3 in there.
No one's going to guess it.
No, nobody's going to guess it. This is a short crust. What would I call it? It's a mince pie, but I had pastry left over. You know the mince meat? Have we put the mince meat video up?
Yes, I think so.
God, you think I should subscribe to my own channel so I know what's going on?
Yes, it is.
The mincemeat we made about 10 days ago. When we get to the end of making our mince pies, I'm looking down there, I should be looking up here. When I get to the end of making mince pies, we have extra pastry, as you often do. You have extra mincemeat. So we decided to make mince pasties. And these are really good because they're my favourite pastry. They're the non-sweetened short crust pastry, and inside it's full of beautiful homemade mincemeat. Shall I try a bit? So I'll break it open first. Ooh. So look, inside, I'm not going to go over the keep. Oh, it's all dripping out. Look, it's full. If I can get that without. It's full of what looks savoury, but actually is sweet.
Lisa says a mincemeat hand pie.
Oh man, that is melt in your mouth.
Minced puff.
I like the pastry. I could almost eat just the pastry. It's just a handmade short crust. I always make my short crust by hand because it's so easy, and you don't want to. Why dirty up a food processor when you can just rub a bit of butter, or in this case butter and lard, into a bit of flour? It's no extra. There's no real pressure needed. Short crust pastry, by the way, you'll see time and time again people say use cold butter on short crust pastry, and you should do it by hand to get the best results. If you use cold butter, and I've always disagreed with this, if you use cold butter, you have to spend ages making it warm with your fingers before you can actually rubbing it between. You have to rub it between your fingers, and then you're overworking the flour. So much better to actually use soft room temperature butter, and then you can actually make it really quickly. You end up with this lovely little breadcrumb, which if you put it into a food processor, you can put cold butter in it, and it probably is better. But then you've got to wash the food processor up, and in this you just got to rinse your hands.
Lisa's asking what short crust is.
Short crust, Lisa, is a pastry that's made as short as possible. So sometimes under 2'6", or even lower. I've seen a smaller. I'm teasing you. Short. You know shortening. When you talk about, I think you know and possibly know this. When you talk about making a pastry short, if you look at bread, when you stretch it, that's the gluten stretching, and if you bite bread, it sort of like stretches away. When you have a short pastry, it's crumbly, almost like sand, and that means it's short. And the reason butter is called shortening, or Crisco, or any of those things are called shortening, is because they stop the gluten from developing. And so you end up with this beautiful, you can almost, it melts in your mouth. There's no gluten development in there at all. So, you know, Scotch shortbread biscuits? I've got a recipe. I'll get Michelle to pop it up there. But you know, when you make shortbread biscuits and they just melt? They're called shortbread because they are so short. It's crazy. It means the strands of gluten are short. That's why it's called short. Okay? If you have bread, you stretch the strands out long. If you have short, you want the gluten strands to remain as short as possible. So you don't use bread flour, you use all-purpose flour, or you can even use rice flour, or gluten-free flour works very well for shortbread, short crust. Sean's saying about duck prosciutto. I never said anything about duck prosciutto, did I, Sean? And you see, it's going all over the place, but it's so good.
Tropic Lush said, did you ever end up picking a name for your chocolate toffee and cracker hazelnut treats?
I think it was a chocolate toffee and cracker hazelnut treat that we chose as the name. Yeah, that was it. Chocolate toffee and cracker hazelnut treat. Tropic Lush. Duck prosciutto. You can't really make duck prosciutto. You can cure duck, but you can't. Prosciutto, by its very nature, wants a little bit of fat in it, and it's generally why they tend to use pork for prosciutto. So no, I've no plans to cure duck. We used to keep ducks. Sorry if you're vegetarian. I don't know why I'm excusing myself, really. We used to keep ducks and eat ducks. So we used to get the wild ducks. The what are they called? In French, they're sauvage ducks. They have the sort of like noddly beaks, and there's a name for them in English. I know the name in France because I kept them in France. And those ducks have the plumpest of breasts, but there's very little extra meat on a duck. It's the breast meat that you're looking for. Man, they were good. I wouldn't want to cure it. It's just too good. Those hazelnut, that hazelnut, have I got any left?
No.
No chance. I actually, to be honest, why am I even looking? It was gone within 24 hours. That hazelnut crackle, chocolate toffee hazelnut crack. I think that's what we called it. Tropic Lush. I think we called it chocolate. For want of another name, that was so good. And that was a little bit like short crust pastry. The toffee melted in your mouth just like a dime bar. You know I love dime bars.
So Lisa made some and they were amazing.
Lisa, did everyone suddenly come round hoping to get a piece of toffee, chocolate toffee crunch? That was good, Lisa. That was really good. You know, actually, I know how good it was because I made it twice in about 3 days. Because everybody that we met absolutely adored it. The Choffee bar. I like it. So, very briefly, did anyone say they had used the community bar? The community tab, I will use it. But to be honest, you know we have a great community already here on YouTube. And I love interacting with you guys as much as I can. So we continue to do it old school for the time being. Any questions?
Tropical Lush says, I'm frying mine empanadilla. I know it's unhealthy, but I've been craving. I'm putting adobo and sazon. Are you familiar with adobo and sazon?
Adobo I am. Sazon I'm not sure. I'll get Michelle to look. But you're frying your empanadillas? Now what's the difference between an empanada and an empanadilla? Is it just the size? Mm-hmm. 10 minutes, Lisa. I've got to stop eating this. I'm going to put this aside because it's so good. This weekend, by the way, we're going to be making those mince pies. And I'm going to do two recipes. I'm going to do my favourite, which is a savoury short crust pastry, and I'm going to do a sweet short crust pastry as well. And they're both great, but the savoury one's my favourite.
The tropical lush is saying that's just the country you're from.
Okay, so that just changes the way you say it.
And Ruby Slipper says, I'm thinking of using mazza crackers on a toffee bar. What do you think?
Sorry, what was that again? I was reading.
I'm thinking of using mazza crackers on a toffee bar. What do you think? Yeah,
mazza crackers would work. Mazza crackers are the unleavened flat cracker breads. They would work really well. Any sort of dry crisp bread would work as well. They might even, you could. You know, I just had an idea. You know the Ryvitas, which used to taste really good, by the way, but now tastes like a piece of old cardboard. But you could certainly liven it up with Ryvitas, would actually give you another spin on it, sort of give you some more wholesome grains in there. But Ryvita, when we were kids, maybe my taste buds are changing. Do you think our taste buds are changing? But Ryvita used to be quite nutty and sort of wholesome tasting, and now when you eat a Ryvita, it just tastes like you've accidentally taken a bit of the packing out of the box and eaten it. No flavour. Another thing with no flavour at all and super popular. Now I should say this because actually in the US you have some really flavoursome versions of it. Here we have rice crackers, the round ones. We don't have the... No, we do have the flavours, don't we? All the salt and vinegar and the chili, sweet chili and that. But if you actually have the rice crackers that are healthy for you, because the flavoured ones are generally just like a bag of crisps or chips, as our American friends say, you have they've got no flavour either. Yeah, matzah. What did we say? I know what you meant, Lisa.
Mazza.
Yeah, no, it's I know what you meant. It's what time is it in Australia?
So Steve, you mentioned today live is 1400 at the community page. I just wondered what time zone you're referring to.
Melbourne time zone, and it is 14:28 at the moment. So we've been going for three. I tend to try and do things. It's really hard to work out the different time zone things, and actually when we travelled for the last 2 years and still travelling, as you know, it gets even more complicated. Yeah, we got some great stuff planned this year. If you want to see how beautiful and diverse the food culture is in Australia, I'm really hoping I can show that to you this year. Michelle and I are going to be going outback. We're going to be having wild times in Australia, and we're going to be traveling a lot, and I'm hoping we'll be able to show you as much of it as we can. And if I can get myself a mobile package that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, I hope to do some live shows on the road as we go. So we'll see how that goes. So where is everybody from? I know where a lot of you are from actually, and then there's quite a few from the US in at the moment, but there must be anyone in from Australia? Australia.
Tropic Lush is in New Jersey, Lisa's in California. So Sean said that talking about the community tab, I like old school. I will probably never use the community tab anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be proven wrong because there is a problem. YouTube have created their own monster in a way. Even I don't know if any of you noticed. By the way, if you subscribe to the channel, please, when you hit that subscribe button, also hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you can actually get notified when I put a video up. But they changed that this week as well, because now when you hit that bell, rather than notify me, there are 3 options. Notify me always, notify me occasionally, notify me seldom. YouTube have major learning disabilities. They can't seem to understand the concept of subscribing. When you subscribe to a newspaper or you subscribe to a magazine, if you then actually sort of say, I want to subscribe to this magazine, they said, would you like us to send it to you as well? And you think, well, yeah, that's what subscribe means. YouTube took the whole concept of subscribing and they basically switched the whole system off. So everybody that subscribed to Steve's Kitchen or any other channel for that matter didn't get notified and had to go through the whole process. So at that time we had about 120,000 followers who are now not getting notified of when we put up a video, and that's YouTube's way of solving whatever it was they were trying to solve. I think YouTube are actually, Google, YouTube, and with respect YouTube, I'm looking at you right now, you are always trying to fix stuff that's not broken. And I know there's a lot of people working for YouTube that have to justify their jobs, but you're always trying to fix stuff that's not broken. And you have done a fantastic job of this. Today's YouTube is infinitely better than 5 years ago YouTube. I absolutely accept it. But some areas, you even frustrate me, and I'm a stalwart YouTube supporter. Vancouver in Canada. Beautiful, Wendy. So yes, Sean, we're going to be taking you out back. We're just in the process of sorting out a vehicle. What sort of vehicle do you think we're going to get? Something probably in keeping with the style. Hey, just to cover this with everybody, I put up a video of the coffee machine. And I want to thank everybody out there that supported me and said, you know, it's not showing off because when we bought a coffee machine, it's really because somebody was just very quick to sort of like criticize and unsubscribe because we'd spent money on a coffee machine. And I say, Michelle and I don't actually spend a lot of money on ourselves going out. When you see us go to a coffee shop and have a nice cake out, you're probably seeing almost every example, because we don't do that very often. We don't have coffee out very often. And I think I put some statistics up there. I mean, if you have a coffee out twice a week, even if just twice a week, you would be spending more on coffee a year than we are on this coffee machine, plus all our coffee beans on top of it. So I almost felt a little bit like, oh, maybe I shouldn't share anything. And actually, we are looking at buying a car, and I'm quite excited about it. Something to take us around Australia. And I thought to myself, well, if I go and put this up, I'm going to get criticised by people for having a vehicle, so to speak. But you know, life rolls on. We're not particularly wealthy. We haven't got. It might look like it sometimes. We're not particularly wealthy, but we do just do things. You know, we just do things and hope it works. I know it's. Thank you. Treat myself whenever we feel like we don't treat ourselves that often. Things like the coffee machine, I don't really see as a treat. I see it as a way of saving money because I'm such a skinflint. So, yeah, I mean, it was an investment, and we will have it for several years, I'm sure. And it will mean that I can have really nice quality of the coffee that I like 2 times a day. Now, if I went out, I think I put the figures up. Even if you went out twice a week, Michelle and I, you'd be spending sort of close to $1,000 a year on coffee. Thank you. Yeah, it does save you. Hi, HE Penny Packer. Welcome. It does save you. Yeah, exactly, Tropic. That life. Okay, wealth is not a monetary thing. Wealth is really. I know people that have got a great deal more money than we have and a lot less happier, and I know people with a lot less that are a lot happier than we are. I also know people with a lot less that are a lot less happy than we are. Did I repeat myself then? But you know, as you get on your path through life, it is important to try and appreciate what you do have. And we on the face of it look very lucky. And people often say to me, "You're so lucky." We are lucky, but we do make our luck, and it is quite hard work sometimes. It isn't just handed to us on a plate. I've been doing YouTube now for a hobby stroke fun for 4 years, and we got sent one thing from a company in that whole time, which was a blender, and I got sort of like hammered for it a little bit. It's hardly going to make a difference. And then I got sent. Oh, by the way, you'll recall that I did the live show. I was a little bit upset about the blender that I got. I'll talk about it in a minute. So yes.
Tropic Lash says, good coffee is an investment. I work at Starbucks where a small coffee is $2 and people come in 2 or 3 times a day. $2?
$2 in there's nothing for $2 in Australia. Coffee, the cheapest coffee you'll get in Australia is probably $3.50, and to be honest, that's rare. Australia is very expensive, by the way. It's a beautiful country, and it is one of the best countries that it is one of the best countries in the world. There are many great countries, but it's seriously expensive. Sometimes people look at the income, the amount of money you can earn in Australia. It's a little bit like other parts of the world where the income levels are very high. For example, and this is going to surprise a lot of my American friends, you know, the minimum salary here is almost $20 an hour. And that sounds crazily high until you realize the minimum cost of living here. It is so high. I mean, you can't find houses for much under nice houses for much under sort of like $700 to $1 million, and these are not mansions. These are quite plain homes, and the costs are very expensive. Coffee here is $4 plus $5. You might have seen last month we went out, Michelle and I, for coffee and cake. We did a little video. 2 coffees, 2 small cakes. It was just shy of $20. So you can't do it that often. I mean, if you do that 5 days a week, that's $100. That's $100. No, that's $200. Yeah. No, that's $100.
Wendy Johnson says it cost me like $4 for a small latte here in BC.
Yeah.
And Tropic Lush says, wow, here in New Jersey it's $8.50.
$8.50 for the very basic coffee. I'm not saying you're not going to get your cafe latte, macchiato, caramel cream wafer, walnut whip coffee for $4, but you have a flat white, simple plain coffee with a bit of milk. That's going to cost you $4.50. If you want anything with a cocktail stick and an umbrella in it, and when I say that, I literally mean just maybe a caramel macchiato or a caramel latte, then you're getting up, yes, to your $8, $9, $10, easily.
So Ruby Slipper says, never thought of you as criticising. I have a Ford truck 1994, if you're interested.
94?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That sounds good. Ford truck 1994. It sounds like one of those sort of old country and western songs that I should probably start collecting the bits from the factory where I work and build myself a 1994 Model 3 Ford truck. I would love it. Have you? Is it in Australia?
Happy Traveller says, you can't please everyone. I like a good coffee and have a machine as well. It's cheaper than Starbucks. Can't wait to see your new auto.
Yeah, our new auto. It's a bit fun. I'll be honest, it's pretty much in the bag, so we'll be sharing that with you very shortly. It's all looking good. I'm hungry again.
I know Tropical Lush was saying $8.50 is minimum wage. Not the coffee.
What is minimum wage here? Close to 20, isn't it?
Close to 20. It's not quite 20, but close to 20.
And you get close to 20 Australian dollars, so it is less. But it used to be pegged. The Australian dollar used to be about the same as the American dollar. It's less now, so that's dropped in value, but it's still expensive. It means it's hard for companies to trade here without making their prices very high. I mean, we had to post something just the other day, and just a very small parcel. They wanted $38 just a part to, and yet we can have stuff posted here from China for $1, including postage. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is a beautiful country, and it is summer, and the garbage, our rubbish truck is coming by again. Now I'm not going to show you it because everybody's got the same apparently.
Ruby Slipper says, close in my driveway.
Well, I don't think that's close to me, Ruby, unless you're in Melbourne.
Margie says, Steve, I've been feeding my fruitcake once a week. I want to stop using alcohol now. What do you suggest I use?
You can stop feeding it now and maybe feed it one more time a week before Christmas just to keep that moisture level up. I mean, if you start changing the feed over now, you're likely to, I mean, a lot of people will use fruit juices, but I wouldn't do that. I'd be inclined to seal it over now, in foil preferably, and then maybe the week before Christmas just feed it one more time so it's moist and ready for serving. You're going to love it. Are you going to actually coat it in marzipan and icing, or have you got any plans, or are you just going straight with the fruit cake? Either way, it's going to be gorgeous.
Let's say hello to wonderful Jan. She says, hello, beautiful Michelle and handsome Steve.
Hello, wonderful Jan. You are too flattering. So, what else has been going on, Michelle? Not a lot this week, really. We've had quite a quiet week. We've had a few failed videos that we've tried to film. Little things. We've got some sphere. We got these hemisphere bowls, which we picked up while we were traveling and dragged the things around with us all over the world. They're wonderful. They're wonderful bowls, actually, but the actual website where they come from give you a recipe and tell you the volume to create, and they're wrong. So that really annoys me, because I always try to be quite accurate in my videos and make sure that things are right, so that when people say, oh, it's not right, I can say, well, it is, because I know what I do is correct. So it's a little bit annoying when the manufacturers gave me a recipe and we put the mixture in there and it didn't come within an inch of the top of the hemisphere, so we wasted that. I tell you what though, we've got some fantastic plans for we end up with some cake left over, and I said, oh, what can we do with leftover cake, because I hate wasting stuff, and I'm not going to sit and eat it all, because last thing I need is a whole load of cake in my system. But I've got some really good ideas that came to mind. We started looking online. What could you do with... why is that frozen?
Mine's not.
So we started looking, what can you do with leftover cake? Cake pops, la 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 la. All the usual suspects came up. I'm not a big fan of cake pops, guys. I know I've used them a few times in a recipe, but they're not the most imaginative way of using leftover cake. So we started thinking of Googling, as you do, for ideas, and then I said, no, turn the Google off, let's come up with our own ideas, which is always the best way to go. And we came up with 3 really gorgeous recipes that we can use our leftover cake, and I'm not telling you what they are.
No, don't give them
I'm not
away.
telling you what they are, because you'll have to wait. Because so we've got 3 really nice ways of using. You know, if you're making a birthday cake and you're trimming off the crumbs, or you're trimming the cake down, we come up with 3 really nice ideas to use, and they're not unique, but they're really good. So that's going to happen. So those semi-decent sphere balls. Now we are going to be making something with a sphere.
Nice.
How's that look?
Lovely.
I think I need the other size. My hair got a very big head, by the way.
No.
Yeah. What do you mean, no? Come and say hello, Michelle. Since she's facetiously... Oh,
right.
Somebody's just super chat us.
Who super chatted us?
Happy Traveller.
Hello, Happy Traveller.
Thank you, Happy Traveller. That's beautiful of you. So, what did I say? What did you just say?
That you haven't got a big head, darling. It's a lovely head.
Go away. I have. Thank you, Happy Traveller. That's very sweet of you. I have got a big head, and I don't mean in a sort of show-off sense of the word, but in the size of my. When I get a hat, I've always got to go. I go into the shops. Where were we in Malaysia?
Malaysia.
And I wanted to get one of those beautiful little beanies that the Malaysian wear, a really nice hat. So I'm going into. They're sort of a bit like this, but they're like beanie hats, and they've got shops completely overflowing with hats. And I go up to the first one. I put it on. It's like this, you know. It's like this. It's sat up here. And I said, have you got a bigger hat? So the guy goes along the line, he gets the biggest hat he can find, and it still sort of sits like a pea on a pod on my head. Thank you, Happy Traveller. That's really nice.
Best $2 I've spent in a long time. Thank you.
Thank you. I've never had a super chat before. That's sweet.
Tropic Lush is asking, what is a super chat?
Super chat, Tropic Lush, is something that Happy Traveller just found, which I've never seen people use before. It's a little dollar button next to the chat down the bottom there, and it means you can donate. And I have got a thing scrolling across because somebody said to me I should do it, but I don't always expect it, so that was nice. Anyway, so I'm going around the hat shop and I'm seeing all these beautiful hats and I'm trying them on, all these different style of fezzes and things, and everything's sitting on me like a pea in a pod.
And they say, we've got a bigger one, sir.
So I got a bigger one, and he goes through the thing and he pull it out and he stick it on. It looked like a teacup. Looked like I got a teacup on my head. And so I didn't get a hat. Then when I come back to Australia, I've got my nice bush hat here. I've got a lot of nice hats, actually. I'm a bit of a hat fan.
Jan said that's because you have a brain full of information. Maybe that's why your head is a little larger.
That is why, Jan. Jan, that's why, Michelle.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Not what you said.
No, I must be wrong.
So yes, it's just generic. My father had a big head as well. He used to have a little story that when he was at school and that when he started school, he didn't have a school hat on, and the teacher said, "Where's your school hat?" Because in the old days they all had to wear little caps. And he said, "I can't find one to fit, sir." So they put the waste paper basket on his head. He liked to tell those stories. Probably I'm a little bit like him in many respects.
So going back to Margie's fruitcakes, is she just having it plain? No.
Yeah, Margie, fruitcake is gorgeous. I mean, where's our Christmas pudding? We can't open it really, can we?
No, you can show it in the bowl. But...
Christmas pudding, I think I likened it to fruitcake on steroids. This is, oh man, that is so heavy. In here is our Christmas pudding that we've made for this year. And I'm really looking forward to having this. This is the one we did on the channel last week. And I'm not going to open it up just yet because we're going to enjoy this over Christmas, and I'm going to actually flame it in brandy. But if none of you have made Christmas pudding before, you should give it a try. It's heavy, huh?
Yeah. Tropic Lush said, would you ever do a giveaway of your old chef jackets? They are so snazzy.
Yes, I would. You know, we're coming up to 200,000 subscribers on the channel now, and when I was to simplify things, I'm thinking of giving something away to celebrate it, because when I came up to 100,000, I've told this story before, but I was literally sick in a hotel in Mexico City. And we were sat there, and Michelle said, "Oh, we've gone over 100,000." And I was so poorly that I could barely get out of bed. It was like, hooray, you know. And then of course the YouTube send you out a special presentation, which I'd not seen until very recently, and I still haven't. I think I was about 150,000 before I even saw it. So I thought when we get to 200,000, which won't be that far away, we'll do a nice little giveaway. Do you know, I'm thinking of getting some apron. I did give away an apron some time ago. What's the lady's channel name? I forget. There's Shah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shah, I don't know if you'll watch this later on. Shah Lewis, she's a regular subscriber to the channel, and Shah won the very only Steve's Kitchen apron that was ever made. And had a picture of me on the front, and I think Steve's Kitchen on there. So there was a time we used to do a lot more of that, but just since we've been traveling, we haven't. That was a little while ago. I think it was possibly 50,000 subscribers or somewhere like that. We used to give all sorts of bits away. Sorry guys, I haven't been giving stuff away. But you know, the other side of that is it can upset a lot of people if you give stuff away and they don't get it. And also you can end up attracting people to the channel for just that reason. But we are for the 200 subscribers, I'm going to give something nice away. Some nice bit of kitchen equipment. So we'll work on it. And actually, you've got to like my Facebook page. No, you haven't actually. You can go and like it, pretend to like it, and then unlike it. I don't care. You're probably going to have to like the Facebook page, because you can actually comment down on Facebook and let me know what sort of ideas we could do for a giveaway for the 200,000. It's probably not a million miles away. What are we up to at the moment, Michelle?
Maybe 100.
I don't keep track anymore of the subscriber count, because I already know that I've got all of the best subscribers on YouTube. You guys are just wonderful. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get more and more fantastic subscribers. It is time. Give away the who said that? Who said that? Margie. I already have.
Ruby Slipper says, planning to make a Christmas pudding, called many places, and one said they had suet, but it was beef fat. Toss it, use it, or substitute it.
No, don't use it. Beef fat you can't use. Just what was that? Okay. I really like suet in a Christmas pudding. You've got to, maybe if you can just try one more time to ask your butcher whether or not they've got the hard fat. It's called visceral fat, and it's around the outside of the kidneys. It's like a lardy sort of waxy fat. That's the fat that you'd be looking for. If you can't get it, and I'm loath to say this, you can actually freeze butter, and you can grate that butter and then just coat it in a little bit of flour and use that. The problem is with butter, or any other fats for that matter, they completely render down to nothing in the pudding. So they do add nice flavour, but they don't add any of the natural sort of suet flavours. So if you can get suet, don't use fat. That's not just regular fat. That will not, if you taste lard, and I have tasted lard, compared to normal fat, it's quite different. It's quite different.
So Jan's been very nice today. Every time you do a video, you give something priceless to us, and that is your love and your recipes.
Thank you, Jan. That is important, and we have talked and talked about where we take the channel. Michelle and I sit here and chat about it. We love doing what we're doing. We want to keep increasing the quality, and I think we might just reel it back a little bit of the numbers of videos we do to try and do better quality stuff. But we've so much to do as well, because on one hand we're saying, oh, you know, we've got to reel it back and do less but better quality, and then sort of on the other hand we're saying to ourselves, but we've got so much to do and so limited time. So it is hard, because we do have you know, we've got this Mexican series, and we've been practicing the recipes. After Christmas we're going to do some fantastic Mexican stuff. But if I do 10 recipes and I only put them up twice a week, it's going to take me a month to get those recipes up to you. So I have to, we are keeping it. I could do with someone working with me. We can't afford to do that, because we'd literally be spending several times what we earn. But it would be useful to have someone come on board and help us. Tropic Lush, what's your favourite butter? Irish Gold. I don't have a favourite butter. I tend to look for quality butters, and if I can find something that's local, I have two sorts of butters. One I'll buy, which almost any brand, if I'm cooking on a regular basis, I love to use good quality butter, but I'm not bothered. But if I'm just going to spread it on a bit of toast or something, I like a nice local butter. So I try and get something from here in Victoria, or if I was in overseas, I try and get something from wherever I am and get not it's I'm not going to say it's to support the local communities. It is, but secondly, it's usually better quality and better tasting. Yeah, a lot, Jan. A lot of work. Like this week, we've done 2 whole days of filming, which has actually been is not going to ever be seen, and because we didn't get the results that we wanted, those videos are still going to be made, but they're going to have to be remade because they didn't come out the way. So that's 2 whole days of Michelle and I filming. Huge amounts of data that we have to store on drives. I had a failed drive the other day. That's been a nightmare. We've been trying to fix that. It's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun. I wouldn't have it any other way. I would never complain about what I'm doing because it's too much fun. And would I advocate to other people to do it? Only if you don't mind earning very little. And a lot of youngsters are getting into this, and I sometimes wonder if it's good for them in the long term, because I even see I meet some very successful YouTubers and realize just how little they live off of. It's quite disheartening. And YouTube can be very difficult. I mean, last year, I think some of you may have heard of the adpocalypse. Last year we were earning a modest amount from YouTube, and then suddenly something went wrong, and it didn't half, it dropped by 90%. And if that's your business, if that's your only source of income, it's really hard. Because people have expenses like we all do. You've got to pay for your electricity and your food and your accommodation and transport, and to suddenly have that taken away from you, it's hard. I would only advise people to get into YouTube, as youngsters, to get into YouTube if they have a solid education behind. Don't stop school to do YouTube. Don't stop education. Get that sorted and get a safety net below you. So and then if you can make it work, it's fun. And we make it work. But then our expectations are a lot different than other people's expectations. I'm not looking to build an empire. I'm just looking to enjoy things. And that sounds lofty sometimes to some people, but it is not meant to be lofty. It means that I'm happy to have some hardships in order to take a more happy pathway. And one day, if you meet me in person, you'll understand that from the way where we live and the way we talk. I'm drying. I'm getting a bit dry. Some water. Excuse me. Questions away. Oh, quiet time. Should put some music on. I don't think I can.
Ms. Tropic Lush says, great advice, always have a plan B, C and D.
Plan B, C and D, but follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. I say that to everybody to a degree. Don't know how much I can share really. We learn at a very young age that sometimes you all end up in lifestyles quite often that are not suited to you, and you can be trapped in those for many years. And sometimes taking that leap of faith, and that's why my other channel was called Stepping Off the Edge, because we liken life to, if you step off the edge of a cliff, generally you're going to die, but actually in reality in life, when you step off the edge and you think you're going to do something, stepping off the edge for us has always worked, because you'll always find a branch to hold on to, or you'll land. it's complicated because I don't like giving this sort of advice to people. Step off the edge, because then you're going to be responsible for loads of people being really unhappy. But for us, it's always worked. If we feel that there's a way our life should be going, we take that path and we make it work. But I would recommend it for everybody, but I wouldn't recommend it for everybody. Does that make sense? Pedro, hola.
Hello from Cancun.
From Cancun, eh? I've never been to Cancun, Pedro. We were in the other side, Puerto Escondido. We were in Oaxaca. I love Mexico. So, if we've got more questions, I'm happy to chat. If we haven't, I'm probably going to wind this up. Any questions? If you've asked a question, by the way, earlier on, and I haven't answered it, ask it again. Oh, I'm guessing that the questions are coming through immediately. I'm not overly sure. Not with people with kids, you mean? How does that mean? Not with people with kids, you mean? I don't understand the question. Maybe you could ask that again, Carles. So, look, I'm going to wrap this up. I didn't have a lot to chat about today, I must admit. I'm going to do these from out on the streets and in Australia, so you guys can see some stuff while I'm chatting, rather than just doing them from here in the kitchen. Next week we will do a live show. We won't be here, we'll be somewhere else. Here means nothing to you. We'll still be in Melbourne. We won't be in this kitchen. Driving? Oh, we'll be on the road? Oh, Michelle's just reminded me, we'll be actually on the road next week. So maybe we'll try and do something live. Next Thursday, we'll try and do something live and show you a little bit of outside Aussie. So how about that? Join me next week for that. Love to you all. I'm going to get off. Be good. Share the love. Give this a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.